review for the final Wave 3 or Wave 2 Deluxe that is out so far. Final of the 3 Wave 2 Deluxes I got. Dinobot Slash. Now he is very Raptor-esque. Some people said maybe he's a Psittacosaur. He seems a little bulky for that, but it's a possibility with the spines and everything. But a very Raptor-esque transformer, in kind of a tealish sea green with some yellow green and bluish highlights, and black as well. Very neat. His jaw does open. He does get a little bit of a chompy action in his thing. He looks a lot like one of the Disco Raptors from the Jurassic Park line with feathers. So yeah. Just real quick, we did show him already off, and we'll show him off with some of his previous Dino buddies. Strafe's already in robot mode, so we'll skip him. But just to get an idea of how he looks with his other stuff, especially with like Grimlock and the other similar body type dinosaurs. He is almost as big as Grimlock height-wise. He's actually a little taller than Grimlock, depending on how you pose him. But yeah, just to give you an idea of where they stand. And real quick, here he is just with Scorn. Just to get an idea. Scorn's a little longer, but definitely a bit more bulk on Slash. And since we've been doing it, there is Evasion Mode Optimus. Just to give you an idea. Now, his transformation is actually got some really cool bits in it. And it's a shame, like I said, his dinosaur mode isn't bad. I do wish that they had maybe foregone, like he stores his soft rubber weapon axes in his forearms, which gives them no movement here. And I would have liked maybe a little bit of posability in this joint, just to make them look a little bit more natural, bring them down and bend them here versus having to move this whole piece as one. But that's what they did. So we'll go ahead and take those out. And I always forget where to start on this guy. So basically you unclip these side pieces. He's kind of got these curved rib pieces that end up being like his shoulder pads in robot mode. So lift those up, and you can see this whole piece is clipped on back here, and it rotates around. You unclip it, and then you can kind of see the channel that's going to go around these posts for the arm, and they're going to clip in up here. So you bring these over, and you rotate this whole thing around and up and over until it clips in. You go ahead and pull the tail down, which reveals his head. But then keep pushing this over until it clips into place on both sides. You can see it's clipped in there. And you can fold these down. So the tail sits along his back. Those rib cage pieces, like I said, are on a hinge and sit up here on his shoulders. And then the raptor arms fold back. And again, if there had been a joint here, you could fold them here and fold them down flatter against his back. As it is, they just kind of stick out. So yeah, there's the arms. So the shoulder pieces they rotate down, and then they also rotate here, so you can put them at whatever angle you wish. The arms, you kind of bring them down like this. Again, he's got the monkey arms as well. But you bring his foot down bring his foot up like this to bring the fist out, but then you rotate the foot like that, and then bring the whole claw down and around to be kind of like arm claws. And that's a really neat transformation, the way that the arm folds up. I like that. Like I said, there's a lot of neat stuff going on here with him, and it's kind of a shame that you don't get more, that he's not a little bit more streamlined in robot mode. Maybe if they'd gotten rid of some of these spines that are all over him, I think he'd look a little bit more visually cohesive, and a little better in robot mode. Now the legs, you actually bring around like this. We're going to rotate him here in a minute. So you come down like this, bring these pieces right here out. These are going to be his toes, actually. And then this piece rotates down and around. You bring his jaw up like that. It sits right there against his jaw. And same on this side. Bring his jaw up, rotate this piece down and around so that just kind of fits right in there. My hip joints are very loose. He doesn't like to stand very well, and they like to pop off, which is a shame. But and then rotate the leg there at the thigh joint. And this piece comes up and then kind of folds back down against the back of his leg. So he's got like a dinosaur skull on the outside of his leg, but you just fold that up to the back. There's his heel piece, there's his toe piece. And there's Slash in robot mode. And he's actually pretty sturdy. I do wish he didn't have the curling iron arms again. Like it would have been fairly simple, I think, to put a wrist swivel here, but they didn't. So you've got him, he's got kind of a hard hat, worky-looking helmet with a grill. And again, like I said, a joint here to fold these down would be nice because they just stick out the back. And then like a wrist swivel. Just those two things I think would have made him much nicer. He does have these spines here on his leg. You can control them a little bit with how you rotate the thigh and all this stuff. And these are on hinges. You can have them stick out a little bit if you want. I think that's mostly more for dinosaur mode to bend them down a little bit. But they don't get it in the way quite as much as the promo pictures made it look. But they are still there. And again, it's on a hinge, and I feel like if they had put that on like a swivel or a ball joint so you could rotate them down so they sat down along the legs, they'd free up the waist and knee articulation a little bit better, and it wouldn't be quite that as big of a deal. Like I said, mine came with loose hips, and you'd see like even on paper, on a friction surface, his legs do like to slide a little bit just due to the weight. That may not be the case with all of them, but it is the case with mine. And then put the soft rubbery axes in his hands, and there he is in robot mode. He's a little smaller in robot mode than you'd expect from his dinosaur mode, and a lot of that is because you can see where a lot of that bulk ends up. His tail is pretty much his entire backpack, and a lot of the bulk of his dinosaur mode is there in his forearms and his shoulders. But it's a neat. I love his color scheme. I just wish they'd done a little bit something a little bit better with it, because looking at it in person, it doesn't look quite as much of a mess. But looking at it on the camera, I just see an explosion of teal and yellow, and a lot of the really cool detail is in this black plastic, which doesn't show up very well, especially in contrast with all the bright colors around it. He's got some really nice like little vent markings on his chest, and the grill on his helmet is really cool. And there's some nice detailing here in his abdomen. It's just a lot of it doesn't really show up very well because it's either hidden by this bright green plastic or just because of the contrast of all the brighter colors around it, which is a little bit of a shame. Overall, he's a decent figure. He's not great. Probably the weakest of the Dinobots so far, I think, which is a shame because, like I said, I like his color scheme, and if he were just a couple of minor issues that if they'd done something a little differently, he probably would not have been quite as much of a disappointment. And he's not a huge disappointment, but he's definitely, I had my expectations tempered already. But he is a little bit of a letdown. I think he's the weakest of the Wave 2. Just because, I think he's got a much more cooler transformation than Strafe does, but Strafe has such a great-looking robot mode that it makes up for it. He edges him out over Slash at any rate. Drift, I think, is still the best of the Wave. There he is with Optimus there. And just a real quick shot. Here's the Wave 3 figures together. There's Drift and Slash. And let me get Strafe here. Yeah. Rotate your arm so you can get you back there a little bit. So there's all three of them together just to give you an idea of how they all compare to each other. So yeah, not the most amazing Dinobot I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting him to be the best of the best anyway. But a nice little addition. I'm looking forward to getting Slug and Snarl when they come out and completing all the Dinobots. But there it is, Dinobot Slash from the Wave 2 Age of Extinction Deluxes.